Hello and welcome to a tutorial on addition and subtraction with integers. Before we start calculating, I just want to draw your attention to this chart in the upper right. If you commit this chart to memory, you should have no problem adding and subtracting integers. The chart is fairly easy to memorize. If you have two positive integers, then you are going to add and your answer will be positive. If you have two negative integers, you're going to add and your answer will be negative. So a general rule is if you have two integers with the same sign, you are going to add and take the sign of the integers. If you have opposite signs, one integer that's positive and one integer that's negative, you're going to subtract. Once you subtract, you're going to look back to see which integer value was larger. If the positive number was larger, then the answer will be positive. If the negative number was larger, then the answer will be negative. As we do some examples, I'm going to be referring to this chart. So eventually, if you could have it memorized, that will help you a lot. Question number 1. We have 3 plus 5. There's something I want to point out here. When an integer has no sign, the absence of a sign, we are going to assume that that integer is positive. So now that we know that 3 is positive, we have a positive and a positive. So according to my chart, positive, positive, we should add the numbers and the answer should be positive. So I know my answer will be positive. And if I add 3 plus 5, I get 8. So 8, positive 8 is my answer. Let's try another example. In this example, I have negative 4 plus 6. Well, I have a negative integer and a positive integer. When I have a negative and a positive, I need to subtract. I look back at the example and I can see that 6 is bigger than 4. Therefore, my answer is going to be positive. So I have positive 6 minus 4. Well, 6 minus 4 is 2. And then I take the positive sign. Let's try another one. Here I have 2 minus 8. And I can tell here there's no sign. Therefore, I'm going to assume that it's a positive 2. So once again, I have a positive integer and a negative integer. I'm going to subtract. I look back at my example and I can see that 8 is bigger than 2. Therefore, my answer is going to be negative. And I'm going to subtract 8 minus 2. Well, 8 minus 2 is 6. And the negative sign comes down. In this next example, I have negative 5 minus 4. I have negative and a negative. I'm going to add these two numbers, and my answer will be negative. So I know that my answer is negative, and then I have to do 5 plus 4. Well, 5 plus 4 is 9, and the negative comes down. In this next example, I have 6 plus negative 4. The operation on 4 is a double operation. We have plus, negative, right? Well, when I have opposite signs or an odd number of negative signs, the integer will be negative. So here I know I have a positive 6. So I'm going to bring that positive 6 down. And here I have a plus negative 4. Well, that's opposite signs or an odd number of negative signs. Therefore, I know I have minus 4. Now, the example is just like the ones we've been doing. So I have a positive 6 and a negative 4. I am going to subtract. Looking back, 6 is bigger than 4. Therefore, my answer will be positive. Six minus 4 is 2. And the positive comes down. The last example in this tutorial is another double operation. This time I have negative 2 minus negative 8. Well, when I have opposite signs, the integer will become negative. When I have the same sign, or an even number of negative signs, so in this case 2, then the integer will become positive. So here, I know I have negative 2, and here I have positive 8. Now the example is just like what we've been doing. I have a negative and a positive. When I have a negative and a positive, I subtract. And I look back to see what the larger number is. The larger number is 8, which makes it positive. 8 minus 2 is 6. And the positive comes down. If you have any questions on adding and subtracting with integers, feel free to ask your math teacher or send an email, and we'll try to help you find the solution. Thanks.